The answer to the 2,000-year-old riddle of the chicken and the egg is a double truth. There are two completely correct answers, and which one wins depends entirely on how the question is framed. To see how we arrive at both, we need to examine the four ways human beings argue about reality. First, the optimist, who looks at the world through the lens of continuous evolutionary wonder. Then comes the skeptic, the voice that demands rigorous definitions and questions every underlying assumption. Third is the philosopher, searching past the biology to find the meaning of form versus becoming. And finally, the pragmatist, who cuts straight through the theoretical noise to find grounded facts. Watching these four modes of thought collide reveals a tug-of-war over how humanity defines reality itself. This evolutionary tree illustrates a biological jump. The optimist starts by pointing out that at some point, two nearly chickens, proto-chickens, combined their DNA to lay an egg containing the very first true chicken. By this logic, the egg arrived first. The skeptic interjects, speciation is gradual. Trying to pinpoint the exact generation where a proto-chicken becomes a true chicken requires drawing an arbitrary line. The philosopher steps back from the timeline. They suggest this question persists because it forces a confrontation between what a thing currently is and what it is in the process of becoming. Look closely at the cracked textures on these fossilized dinosaur eggs. The pragmatist uses them to provide a biological timeline check. The mechanism of an egg predates any bird by hundreds of millions of years. Fish and reptiles were laying them long before feathers existed. That fossil evidence reframes the debate. We are no longer dealing with a theoretical mindbender, but a question of biological chronology. Hearing this, the optimist eagerly latches on to the pragmatist's timeline. If ancient reptiles were laying eggs, then the egg wins the historical record. Life found this elegant reproductive solution long before chickens ever showed up to claim credit. This Venn diagram reveals a quiet sleight of hand. The skeptic points out they redefine the word egg to mean any egg. Most people asking the riddle mean a chicken egg specifically, making this broad definition a dodge of the original premise. The philosopher agrees with the skeptic, highlighting how this entire puzzle relies on smuggled definitions. The biological question is actually a semantic one. The reason this question has successfully tricked humanity for millennia is because it masks a linguistic flaw in a biological disguise. The pragmatist steps in to settle the semantic chaos. They offer a fork in the road. We just need to pick a definition and stick to it. On one side, if we define the subject as an egg laid by a chicken, then the chicken had to exist first to do the laying. On the other side, if we define the subject as an egg containing a chicken, then the egg came first, holding the mutation that produced the bird. The confusion clears as soon as we apply a consistent rule to our vocabulary. But the skeptic is unmoved. They argue that arguing semantics over unanswerable riddles is a waste of time and intellect. The optimist defends the exercise. They see this stubborn curiosity as the thing that makes us uniquely human. We end up with chickens and eggs either way, and it's meaningful that we care enough to ask. Look at this bust of Aristotle. Long before Darwin used the same logic to untangle common descent, thinkers like Aristotle and Plutarch used this riddle to probe the nature of cause and effect. It pushed them to define how one thing becomes another, building the logical framework that later allowed us to understand evolution itself. The value of an enduring question is measured by the systems of thought it forces us to build, even when the final answer remains elusive. So here is the twofold verdict. Biologically, the egg wins. Amniotic eggs predate birds by roughly 340 million years. Semantically, the chicken wins. If the phrase chicken egg mandates a chicken creator to lay it, the bird takes the crown. Both of these answers are provably correct, yet neither one feels satisfying to the human mind. It is precisely this lack of satisfaction that guarantees humanity will keep asking this exact question for another 2,000 years.